What's up, y'all? Cliff here from Not Gospel Studios. It's Wednesday. It's bright and early. Me and my boys got up at 6 a.m. this morning. We got our gym clothes on, and we went around our subdivision, and we bear crawled and jogged all around our subdivision from street light to street light. The sun wasn't even up yet. I don't say this to brag. I say this to be a motivational moment for you guys, or a tool for you guys, men, women, leaders, heads of your household. If you want to encourage your family, encourage your kids to positivity and to getting the day started bright and early and started the right way, get the blood pumping and flowing, do some activity with them in the morning before school, make that extra effort. I mean, they'll see it. They'll know it. They'll know it for the rest of their lives. It's something they won't forget. Afterwards, we came in the house. They rinsed off. I made them some eggs, just one little fried egg. And it turns out they don't like fried eggs as much as they like scrambled eggs, which was offensive to me because I make a pretty darn good fried egg. But regardless, we had a little food in our belly, and then we sent them off to school. It was the first day of school. And a little bit later, I'm going to be a part of a workout that my wife does. I'm not sure how much energy I'm going to have for that workout because this is not my bag. It's not exciting to me to go out and work out and do these things. That's something that I have to prepare for and motivate myself for, go to bed early for, but it's something that is necessary for my family, and it's something that I want to be a leader in every positive thing that my family is doing and getting involved in. I want to be an encouragement and an influence every single time. So I don't know how much energy I'm going to have for it. I might just be flopping around like a fool in this workout that my wife does, but I'm going to be there for her, and I'm going to support her, and I'm going to be a part of it. And I feel like that's my job, and I want to encourage you guys to do the same for your family and set those standards and set those values for your family. And so today we're just going to cover a quick question. There's a bunch of questions online. If you just do, can a Christian do this or do that? We're just going to start covering some of those questions for you guys and developing your faith. Hopefully allowing these little videos to be tools that you can use to understand a little bit more about what it means to be a Christian, why we believe what we believe, and maybe prepare you to have difficult conversations when somebody says, well, what do you think about this and this and this? And you can know why we believe certain things, why we feel the way we do about certain things. So the question today is, can a Christian, or should a Christian be cremated? That's the question. We're going to dive into it in this episode of Reconstructing Christianity. So can a Christian be cremated? For some of you guys, you may think, why is this even a question? Why does it matter? And for some of you, it may be like, well, we already know whether they can or not. But we want to find out and sort of address why this is even a question to begin with. This is mainly a question, and this is a concern for people for two reasons, typically. The first one is because in ancient times, cremation was a send-off and a way of dealing with human remains that the pagans did. Oftentimes, they would burn the remains of their loved ones who passed or whatever. They would burn them up as a sacrifice or an offering to some sort of pagan deity. Or other times they do it as a send-off to sort of allow their body to go to the afterlife. That's one reason why people don't know whether Christians can be cremated or should be cremated. The second reason that people question whether or not a Christian should be cremated is they have this idea that if you disintegrate the remains, you turn your remains to ash or you cremate the body, that somehow it's going to affect your ability to be resurrected, or it's going to affect God's ability to put you back together for the resurrection. These are the two main reasons why this is a concern and why people don't know exactly what they believe about cremation when it comes to Christianity. And we're going to dive into those two reasons real quick for you guys. So the first reason about pagan gods and pagan deities, I would just say that that's a quick answer. And the quick answer is this: as long as you are not burning and sacrificing your body to some idol god, I think you're fine. I mean, that's pretty just point blank and obvious. As long as you're not sacrificing your body to some pagan deity when you're dead, you're good to go. So that one we address really quick and say, hey, unless you write it in your will, hey, sacrifice my body to Astaroth or Dagon or whatever, you're good to go. The second reason people have this question has a little bit more biblical background and is a little bit more interesting, and that's the one we're going to spend the most time on. The concern some Christians have about can you be cremated and does it affect your body in the resurrection? I think the clearest answer for this comes from Ezekiel chapter 37, and it's about Ezekiel's vision of the valley of dry bones. So Ezekiel has this vision of this valley of dry bones. It's a valley full of bones from soldiers. It was a massive war that happened, and all these soldiers had passed away. And these bones are scattered throughout the entire valley. And so we're going to look at this in Ezekiel 37, read through this, and see how it addresses whether or not a Christian should be cremated or can be cremated. Ezekiel 37, verse 1, "The hand of the Lord was upon me, and he brought me out by the Spirit of the Lord and set me in the middle of a valley. It was full of bones. He led me back and forth among them, and I saw a great many bones on the floor of the valley, bones that were dry. He asked me, 'Son of man, can these bones live?' I said, 'Sovereign Lord, you alone know.'" Verse 4, "Then he said to me, 'Prophesy to these bones and say to them, dry bones, hear the word of the Lord. This is what the sovereign Lord says to these bones. I will make breath enter you, and you will come to life. I will attach tendons to you and make flesh come upon you and cover you with skin. I will put breath in you, and you will come to life. Then you will know that I am the Lord.' So I prophesied as I was commanded. And as I was prophesying, there was a noise, a rattling sound. The bones came together, bone to bone. I looked, and tendons and flesh appeared on them, and skin covered them, but there was no breath in them. Then he said to me, 'Prophesy to the breath. Prophesy, Son of man, and say to it, this is what the sovereign Lord says. Come, breath, from the four winds, and breathe into these slain, that they may live.' So I prophesied as he commanded me, and breath entered them. They came to life and stood up on their feet, a vast army." Ezekiel's vision, I think, clearly addresses whether or not we can be cremated or should be cremated. If God can make sinews and flesh and muscles appear on these bones from being disintegrated by bacteria and turned into bacteria poop and, scattered and all over creation and all forms of matter, God does not need our help in turning molecules the way he wants them. He can pull molecules from time and space from anywhere he wants and recreate a human body, and he proves it in the valley of dry bones. He has no problem turning ash back into bones. That just makes common sense. In a way, this also addresses another concern that Christians have about being organ donors or donating their body to science. A lot of Christians have reservations, significant reservations about donating their body to science and research after they've passed on. To be honest, the Valley of Dry Bones pretty much says it plain that if God wants to take your parts from anywhere and from any form of matter, he can do that, and he has no problem doing it. When the resurrection takes place, if your liver is in somebody else because you passed on, or your body was opened up and used for scientific research, he has no problem putting back whatever he needs to make you join the rest of us in the resurrection. So there should be no problem or fear of having your body cremated. There should be no problem or fear of being an organ donor. Those should not be concerns for a Christian, because the Valley of Dry Bones in Ezekiel pretty much explains that God does not need our help in getting us prepared for the resurrection. Another way that sort of proves that it's okay if you're cremated is thinking about all of the Christians throughout time who were tortured and persecuted for their faith. Many Christians throughout the generations were burned at the stake for their faith. That means before they even died, they were in the stages of being cremated. If you can't be cremated and be resurrected, then that means every Christian who was a martyr for their faith, burned at the stake, can't be resurrected. That makes no sense. If anybody deserves being resurrected, it's a martyr for the faith, obviously. So these are just some things to think about. These are some things little notes that you can share with anyone who says, hey, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? You can answer these questions. Hopefully this helps develop what you think about these questions, about the question of cremation. But also, I'd like to address any questions you have. So if you have any more questions or you want to challenge me on this in any way, write it down in the comments, your thoughts about cremation. We're going to hopefully try to get weekly videos or, about this kind of stuff, helping you develop your Christian faith. Here at Not Gospel Studios, we're a pretty well-rounded channel. Yes, we're Christians, and so we're going to have videos about Christian faith every week, but then we're going to dive into politics and pop culture and movies and music, and we like to cover it all. We like to be involved, and we like to give sort of our Christian spin on what's going on. And so hopefully this helps you today. This motivates you and encourages you and inspires you today and helps develop your faith. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Continue to support quality independent content. And as always, keep being awesome because that's how God made you.